I'm accompanied by Amber Wagner, who is the RTA's Transportation Mobility Administrator. And during this particular meeting, we will be addressing any comments related to the grant application. The RTA operates its programs without regard to race, color, and national origin in compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. And with that said, this administrative hearing is now in session. As previously mentioned, the purpose of this meeting is for the consideration of projects where financial assistance is being sought from the U.S. Department of Transportation for transit services operating in Pima County's non-urbanized areas. This is a 2-year grant for federal fiscal years 2022 and 2023. Grant funds will be used to help finance transit services between the city of Tucson and rural portions of Pima County, as well as to provide linkages between the city of Tucson and surrounding jurisdictions. The RTA is requesting a total of $5,286,012 to help fund the operating, administrative, and capital costs associated with these services. $494,954 of those requested funds will be used for the purchase and maintenance of transit vehicles. And then local contributions from the RTA, as well as in-kind sources, will be providing $2,668,800 of this grant's total request. So at this hearing, the RTA will afford an opportunity for interested persons or agencies to be heard with respect to the social, economic, and environmental aspects of the grant application via Zoom. Speakers are limited to a 3-minute oral presentation, but may also submit written comments to info@pacregion.com to be included in the RTA's files. Call to the audience is limited to 30 minutes. The RTA may respond to criticism made by those individuals who have spoken and may also ask staff to review a matter if needed. So far, we did not receive any written comments or requests to call in to comment. So we will now be taking calls from the audience who would like to provide any feedback. Crystal, do we have anyone wanting to call and provide feedback on this application?
I did not have any requests.
Okay. Is there anyone here who would like to provide any comments about this grant application? Okay. Well, if there are no callers or no one who wants to provide any additional feedback, then I would like to close the public hearing and adjourn this meeting. The time is now 11:04, and we will now proceed with the RTA Transit Working Group meeting. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. And it looks like that we have a quorum, so we can start the meeting. Thank you all for participating and listening in to our administrative public hearing for our 5311 grant application. I'm going to call our meeting to order. It is 11:05 a.m., February 15th, 2022. This is the PAG RTA Transit Working Group meeting. We have the meeting information on the screen. Please note that you all are on mute. To take yourself off mute, go to the bottom left of your screen. Let's start with a roll call of our voting members. City of Tucson.
Here, this is Rhett Crowninshield, Transit Administrator, City of Tucson.
Thank you. City of South Tucson. Tohono O'odham Nation. Pasquayaqui Tribe. Pima County.
This is Jonathan Crow. I'm here.
Thank you. Town of Marana.
Lisa Schaefer here.
Thank you. Town of Sahuarita. Okay. Thank you, Vince. Town of Oro Valley.
Town of Oro Valley here, John Hobbeker.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go to item number 2 on our agenda. It's the in-kind form. Regional planning efforts are enhanced by recording time donated by attendees, volunteers, and participants. PAG collects data on the time dedicated to meetings and activities to apply for use as matching funds for grants and federal dollars. If you are paid with federal dollars, please let us know now. Time spent in preparation for this meeting will be estimated by PAG staff who are knowledgeable of the agenda and meeting materials. At the conclusion of this meeting, the session report will automatically calculate your time spent in the meeting. Time spent working on PAG and RTA initiatives, programs, and special projects may also be eligible for consideration for matching funds. Moving on to item number 3, the fiscal year 2023 Regional Transit Funding Program. In the PAG region, the PAG RTA Transit Working Group prioritizes funds using a predefined process that emphasizes FTA compliance and regional transit needs. There's 5 regional funding priority tiers. Those include services and improvements required by law, maintaining existing assets and services, expand services, passenger enhancements, and other support services. Fiscal year 23 is considered an off year for our TIP development. For these off years, the Transit Working Group meets to amend the financial plan for the following year to reflect the most current estimates of available resources. The subsequent fiscal years will be updated during the next TIP development cycle, which will take place this fall for the fiscal year 24 and 28 TIP. Staff has received all applications for funding allocation for the 23 TIP programming process. The applications were attached to your Transit Working Group packet. The funding levels and any needed prioritization can take place during discussion at this meeting. We can make necessary adjustments to funding levels prior to final approval. Preston, can you pull up the spreadsheet of the 23 project requests?
Sure, let me do that now.
Thank you.
Are you able to see it?
Can we make it a little bit bigger for folks?
This is my full screen currently.
Can everybody see it? I know you all have copies of it as well.
Maybe I can zoom in.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Donna Orvelli can see it clearly.
Okay, great. Based on the projections versus the requested projects, it appears we need to adjust approximately $280,000 in funds. We need to balance the program requests, the programming versus the request in order to move it forward to the TPC. Does anyone have any questions or additional input?
Hey, Amber, it's Rhett.
Yes, Rhett.
City, Tucson.
Hey, thank you.
I believe we can reduce our preventative maintenance by that amount in order to make this work. For Suntran, Sunvan, Sunlink.
Okay, so we would take the 280,000 out of TIP element 68.03.
Correct.
Okay,
Let me just confirm with Steve real quick. Steve Spade?
Yeah, Rhett, I'm good with that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
okay,
You want me to make that adjustment?
okay. That
Okay.
appears to balance out the request. Does anybody have additional input or questions in terms of the 23 project requests?
Hey, Amber, this is Steve. Do we need to point out to the rest of the working group that new requirement for 0.75 of the allocation 5307 be allocated to safety activities?
Yes, if you'd like to explain that, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, it's just a quick explanation. The new bill requires 1% of the 5307 funding be or equivalent be allocated to security activities, and it then also requires 0.75 of the 5307 allocation to be earmarked for safety activities. And so that's a new line item this year that reflects that requirement.
So that'll have a new TIP ID, and that is part of the funding priority tier of the services and improvements required by law. the three, the transit for security, the safety for transit, and the associated transit improvements for ADA are all required by the funding and by the bill. And as Steve indicated, the safety for transit is a new requirement under the new infrastructure bill. Are there any other additional questions? If this is the agreed upon programming request, I'd ask for a motion to advance the amended 23 programming request to the PEG TPC. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion?
Motion from Rhett. Do I have a second?
I second. This is Jason. Bye.
Thank you, Jason.
Sorry for being late. I had an issue that popped up there on the reservation that I had into.
No problem. Thank you for attending. I'm going to do a roll call of our voting members. We have a motion on the table. For favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay. The City of Tucson,
Aye.
City of South Tucson, Tohono O'odham Nation, Pasquiyaki Tribe,
Aye.
Pima County,
Aye.
Town of Marana,
Aye.
Town of Sahuarita. Yep. Town of Oro Valley.
Aye.
The Transit Working Group will advance with this amendment or to amend the fiscal year 23 programming request to the PEG Transportation Planning Committee. At this time, the fiscal years 24 through 26 will remain as currently programmed in the 22 through 26 TIP until the 24-28 TIP development cycle is completed. Moving on to item number 4. This is an opportunity for jurisdictions to give updates, what they're seeing. In terms of the Sun Shuttle services, we are in the process of our RFP process for our Sun Shuttle services. That would be for our fixed route, general public dial-a-ride, as well as our ADA dial-a-ride. We received proposals February 4th, and our selection committee is currently meeting and evaluating proposals. I think a few months ago, we gave updates on 410 and we did surveys and collected input from citizens. And we have a subcommittee working on that. We've been busy the last month or so, so we are going to be readdressing 410. We're still seeing issues with service decreases there. We're trying to make some areas for an improvement. So we will be bringing those recommendations to the next transit working group. Rhett, do you have any updates for the City of Tucson or Suntran?
Amber, sorry. No, we have no updates.
Okay. Oro Valley, John, do you have any updates in Oro Valley?
Yes, one is on driver staffing. We have been improving as of late with driver staffing and recruiting, and are able to provide more trips and not turn off trips as quickly as we have been for the next day. And I think that's the only update we have.
Well, that's good to hear that we're seeing that. Are there any additional updates or any questions that anybody has in terms of service in our area and region?
This is Jason Bahi, Pasquiyaki. Just
Yes.
wanted to report that we constructed 3 new bus pullouts here on the reservation. One that will service a new health care center that's under construction and it's already in service right now, but and then 2 on Los Reales that we just finished about 6 months ago. That's all.
That's great. Thank you very much for the update, Jason. If there's no other additional items, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you for participating. This was a short one. We will hold our next meeting either March 8th or April 12th, possibly April 12th. I will keep the group posted. If there are no other announcements, we'll adjourn the meeting. And thank you for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.